What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Errol the Truth Spence Jr., undefeated, unified, three-belt WBA, WBC, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top two, if not number one, definitely top five, pound for pound, best fighters in the world, with a record of 28 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. He and his team return shots at undefeated, three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, superstar boxer who is widely considered by many to be the number one best pound-for-pound fighter in the world in Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Crawford has a record of 39 wins, no losses, no draw, 30 big wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. With that said, they will square off July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, and they have been sharing and swatting these posts at each other for quite some time. Immediately following his April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T Dallas Cowboys Stadium showdown and unification bout with former IBF or WBA, should I say, welterweight world champion Cuban star boxer Yordenis Ugas, Errol Spence immediately and his team had shirts made up of himself as the big fish, as he refers to himself and as he's noticed for. And he had the big fish as the Grin Reaper, knocking on all the doors of the champions in the welterweight division that he was coming to collect their belts. So he had, obviously, the first belt he collected was May of 2017, the IBF title from Special K Kell Brook, British welterweight, former IBF world champion, superstar boxer in the UK. He stopped him in the 11th round, broke his orbital bone, and took his IBF title. Then he faced off against two-time welterweight world champion, superstar, now retired future Hall of Famer, Showtime Shawn Porter, September of 2019. He took his WBC belt in a unification bout, became the WBC IBF world champion. And then April 16th, Arlington, Texas, he took Yordenis Ugas' WBA title to become the three-belt welterweight world champion. So he had himself as the Grin Reaper, knocking on all these doors, collecting on all the belts. And the last door, it had Terence Bud Crawford and the WBO belt, that he was knocking on that door, looking to collect that belt. He made that merchandise immediately following his victory over Yordenis Ugas after he called out Terence Crawford and said, "I'm coming to get your strap." I'm paraphrasing. He used other words to describe what he was coming to get. And so with that said, Terence Crawford, now that the fight was announced, at one point in time, he recorded himself in the ocean saying, "I'm looking for the big fish. I'm big fish hunting." Now, Terence Crawford's hobby is fishing. So he showed himself in the ocean and he stated, "I'm looking for the big fish. I'm big fish hunting." And then he came up with this picture with a big fish on the spear and himself as Aquaman, and he collected the big fish. And Errol Spence, he had the picture of the Grin Reaper, big shark, big fish, at Terence Crawford's door, shaking hands and agreeing to the fight. And now Errol Spence and his team, they have came up with this picture of Terence Crawford in Jaws' mouth with the WBO strap, big fish, and they say crawfish boil coming soon, right? Obviously, his name is Terence Crawford. Crawfish is a fish, right? So this is heating up. It's getting interesting. Crawfish boil soon. You see that? So with that said, this is the biggest fight in 42 years in the sport of boxing. Again, we had more popular name fights, like Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao is the biggest, most lucrative, legendary fight in boxing history, right? It did 4.6 million pay-per-view buys, It did over $500 million in revenue gain, and it did a massive gate. So with that said, they both earned Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather over $100 million for that fight. It was highly anticipated. But as far as the competitive nature wise, most people, I would say 80% of the people understood that Floyd Mayweather, well, he was going to be the victor in that fight because the blueprint was already out on how to beat Manny Pacquiao. And then we had most recently, April 22nd, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. We had Gervonta Tank Davis face off against King Ryan Garcia. And that was a fight that did 1.2 to 1.4 million pay-per-view buys. But again, Tank Davis is a 5-time world champion, 3-division champion, and a superstar in the sport. Ryan Garcia had never fought for a world title, so obviously he's never won a world title. He has a huge fan base outside the sport of boxing. He's very popular, but he hasn't accomplished much within the sport of boxing. The same can't be said for Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, who are highly decorated and highly accomplished within the sport of boxing. And so this fight, the last time we had a fight of this magnitude that was competitive, that you can identify with both fighters, was again September 16th, 1981, when we had Thomas the Hitman Hearns face off against Sugar Ray Leonard. 2 legends, 2 icons, 2 Hall of Famers for Undisputed. Now, that was only a 2-belt era, just the WBC and the WBA titles. Nonetheless, it was a mega fight. That was 1981. We in 2023. That was 42 years ago. The last time we had a fight of that magnitude was that fight. And now this is a throwback fight, and we have a fight that's going to revisit the past, and we're going to have an undisputed welterweight champion. There's never been a 4 major sanction undisputed welterweight world champion in the history of the sport of boxing. So this is going to be an accomplishment for either guy. And for Terence Crawford, he'll be a 3-division, 2-division undisputed world champion should he be victorious. And for Errol Spence, he'll be the first welterweight to hold all 4 major sanction belts. So history and legacy is on both guys' side. Neither one of these guys are coming to lose, and both of them are coming straight at each other. The rubber's going to meet the road. As Errol Spence stated, I'm big stepping as soon as the bell rings, meaning I'm coming right for Terence Crawford. He has an extremely high work rate. He's fundamentally sound. He's technically sound, but he's very aggressive. Terence Crawford, he has stopped and knocked out 12 of his last 13 opponents or 14 opponents. So that speaks for itself what you're going to get when these guys collide. I see no way possible that this fight don't live up to the billing. And with the build-up and with them going back and forth and the press conference to take place soon, this is going to be an epic showdown. And they have a 2-fight deal, immediate rematch clause that both guys have the opportunity and the ability to activate a rematch clause within 30 days of this fight. So that means they have until August 29th to let the world know and let the boxing world know, more importantly, that they want the rematch immediately, which I believe it will take place at 154. Already history and accomplishment will be settled at 147. I think both guys at that point in time are ready to move up to 154. And I think the rematch would take place at 154 en route to one of them looking to fight Jermell Charlo, who's the undisputed 3-time junior middleweight world champion, superstar, top 5 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. So with that said, this is huge. This is a can't miss fight. Again, the excitement is can't miss. I'm hard pressed to see this fight not live up to the billing. Both guys are aggressive. Both guys have high ring IQs. Both guys are versatile. Both guys are athletic. Both guys are top 5 pound for pound. Both guys are hungry, and both guys have a huge chip on their shoulder to prove that they are the best, absolute best in the world. So I'm hard pressed to see this fight not live up to the billing. And these memes and these shots they throwing at one another, it gets exciting and it builds up more and more tension and more interest in this fight. Trust me, worldwide, this is a global fight that the world wants to see, point blank and period. This is not a popularity contest, although both guys are extremely popular. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. Follow me on Instagram, Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm gone. Peace.
Lacey of Bumgarner, you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Wow.